Hey humans, welcome back. I know it's been a few weeks since we last live stream. Life. We had a ton of projects that we were needing to work on, and just everything was overwhelming. Anyway, so we're back. And this week, it was a choice between Mystery Jar or Cryptid, and Cryptid actually won. Woo! Said hi. Looking forward to tonight's skunk Ape. Uh, and Rainbow Heart said hi. Hey everybody. Thank you for joining us. So yeah, Cryptid won tonight, and I'm wanting to work on a Florida Cryptid series because I've done cryptids worldwide. That's why this book is here. And this was the version of the skunk ape that we originally drew back in like 2020. And I kind of want to redo it, but it's also on the list of Florida cryptids that I want to draw, so figure win-win. Um, so yeah, I have this idea of doing it crouching um, in some like Everglades type situation in comparison to what we did back in like 2020. He looks like he has like a really weird He-Man mullet thing going on, but I still love him. Anyway, so we're gonna get to sketching our idea out. So feel free to grab your pen, pencil. If you have a to-do list that you need to get done, definitely feel free to get that done. Um, us, for the most part, we're gonna start to sketch. So I'm just gonna turn on the tunes. But yeah, if you are never joined us for a live stream, pretty much what we do is we put out a poll on Thursday via Instagram, and you guys get to choose what we draw on Saturday. And yeah, so like I said, Cryptid won tonight, so we're gonna be drawing the skunk ape again because I want to start the, like I said, this Florida cryptid series. I had this idea for Inktober to do Florida cryptids, only I'm not sharing the time lapses till probably next month. But I thought it'd be a fun series to do. Plus, I want to see it in a zine format. That's just me. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling and I'm gonna get to sketching. Anyway, so hope you guys are doing awesome tonight. And yeah. So let me just turn on the music and get to doing what we're gonna do. Do do do. So we've been sketching for like roughly maybe 10, 15, not even minutes. This is what we've got so far. Granted, I like to think that my imagination is a lot bigger than the paper. I don't know what it is about thinking that if you buy a bigger sketchbook, you're gonna sketch within the realm of lines, which granted, we got the whole character down, which I'm proud of myself. We've had very little background. But I like where it's headed. Looks very ape-like. Looks very, very skunky. Um, I figure we're gonna ink said drawing. I've been really loving these Sharpie S gel pens um, that I recently found at Blix. Um, they don't bleed that I've realized, and I don't have to sit there and bust out my fountain pens, which I love my fountain pens, but this has been kind of like a game changer, especially since I recently realized that my carbon ink um, bottle that I thought was still full is not full, so we get this instead of this. Anyway, but I like the way that this guy is looking. Granted, does he look very animal-like? Hopefully, a little bit. I want to say it looks a lot better than the one that we did back in 2020. Let me pull that guy back up again. Anyway, how are you guys doing tonight? I hope you guys are doing awesome. I'm sorry if we just rushed into the drawing. I was just really stoked to be drawing instead of sitting there and dealing with real life. Real life can be kind of a bummer. Skunk Ape. So, this is... Well, you kind of can't see him because he's penciled in. But, so this is Mr. Squiggle with He-Man-like hair. Let me see if I can get you guys to get a little bit of a zoomed up version of it so you can see what I'm talking about. He got a He-Man type like mullet thing going on. Anyway, so let me see if I can... I've never played with this camera a great deal until recently, but this is what we're working with right now. He kind of looks like Smeagol now that I think about it. If we zoom out a little bit, you can kind of see him a little bit better. Very, very humanoid still looking. Granted, wanted to bring in a little bit of the swamp-like features you can't really see. A little bit of swamp leaves. I don't know if I want him to overlay the creature. I probably do. But we'll figure that out as we go. But I like the nose. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit further. Oh wow, this camera's pretty dang decent. Actually pretty pleasantly surprised. Except for I look like I'm holding paper in the camera up to my face. But you can kind of see what he looks like so far. I'm going to try to zoom up a little bit. And I like his feet. That's like probably like my favorite part. I wanted to make him look like he was crouching. So you guys can see a little bit. I'm going to zoom out. But yeah, he's supposed to be crouching. Hopefully I can keep a lot of the features that I want to keep. But yeah, so we're going to get to inking this dude. Like I said, I wanted to start a Florida Cryptid series for another zine that I want to make that's just based on Florida cryptids and creatures. I have the list in here, so definitely look forward to more cryptids. For right now, let's see if anybody wrote anything. He looks awesome. Oh, thanks, Matt. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I think we've had this conversation before where I've told you that I'm like, I had it with somebody where I'm like, I can draw portraits like really well. When it comes to creatures, I'm not an animal person per se. So Cryptid series has kind of been kind of like one of those things with like challenging your brain type situation. What is it? What kind of fountain pen do you usually use? They're like an off-brand. I don't think they have a brand name to them, or they might, and it's probably like written on here. I want to say that they were Hongdae, or if I can find a link to them, I will definitely sit there and see if I can. There's a name written right here on like the little rim, and I can't read it because it's kind of Hongdae. Honode. I want to say it's HONODIAN. I could be wrong. If I can find the name of the fountain pens that I use, I will let you know. But I like them because they come in different sizes. The only bitch is I don't have any of the carbon ink that I normally use, which is also going to be interesting because the ink is from Japan and I don't know about like the whole tariff situation. Yes, I think that is the actual brand. Yeah, it's very, very faint. Let me see if I can pull up one of the other pens. I want to say that that's what it says on there. But yeah, they come in like different fun colors. But what I like is they have different nibs. So like this one is a super fine point one. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. Let's see if we can beauty star this. Like this dude has like a pretty fine nib. I like this is probably like my favorite one out of the ones that I own. And then I have one that has like this really cool bent nib. Um, the whole fountain pen situation started with I hate buying pens. Um, I hate buying pens that eventually you have to throw out, and it's like a bunch of pens that you're throwing into the landfill. Um, I use that brand of fountain pen ink. Oh, dude, it's amazing. I love that fountain ink brand. Ink. It dries super quick, and it's pretty amazing. But this one is probably like my favorite. Aside from this particular version of the pen, which is I think the extra fine point pen, this one has like a bent nib. I forget the reasoning why I bought this, other than somebody had mentioned about being left-handed and the type of line that you get from it, or rather, um, you have less. I want to say it was less ability to smear the ink. I could be wrong. I might be making things up at this point, but I just thought it was a really cool nib, and I had never seen one that's like bent. I don't know if you can see this. I'm trying to hold it with my hand. You can kind of see that the tip of it is like kind of bent, and I thought it was really cool. Um, Never seen that, and I really liked the way that the pen worked and flowed. And so I decided I'm just gonna buy a series of fountain pens. I think I bought these during COVID. Oh yeah, see, I'm a dingus. There it is right at the top of the cap. Yep, you were right, Matt. That's definitely the brand of the fountain pen. But yeah, I love the carbon ink. What's funny is I tried. Let me see if I can pull it up. Noodler's ink, which is another cool one. There you go. That's the name of it. That's the food nib. Yeah. See, I had seen it. I didn't know the name of the nib. I just know that it was bent, and I was like, oh, that's kind of fun. But yeah, the Noodler ink. I've tried this one, and it's not waterproof at all. Even the one that I think is called the carbon ink one, or I could be wrong about what it's called. I think I threw that one out because the ink actually dried up. But it's not waterproof. You will ruin your watercolor drawings. Like whoa. But I like these fountain pens. I've had them since like 2020, like I said. And it was kind of like a game of I didn't want to continuously be buying pens, because I go through ink way too fast to justify buying those inking pens that everybody uses, which, no judgment, like if you use them and they work for you and you don't go through them like holy heck, then thumbs up. I am horribly bad at going through ink like there's no tomorrow, hence ink eater. um but yeah, but no, recently I've really just enjoyed these Sharpies just because they're kind of fun. But yeah, that's one of the reasons I got it, was the line width and the thickness, and that you could play with it. Only tonight we're drawing with this dude because honestly I didn't feel like refilling my pens. Not to mention the carbon ink bottle is like all the way down to the tippy bottom, and I'm like, that 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 just feels like a mess right now. Also, I have to figure out if I'm able to purchase that still on Amazon. I'm gonna assume yeah, but you never know. Um, but it's funny that you knew the name of the brand of the inking pens. Should have looked at the top cap. But I will say that they're pretty awesome if you haven't tried them already. Anyway, we're gonna get to inking this dude, and hopefully he turns out exactly the way he's looking right now. It may go rogue. So I'm gonna turn back the music. And like I said, if you guys have any questions, I'm gonna pull the soda can away from me because it's kind of funny because it's creating an echo. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Right now, we're going to get back to actually inking this guy. I really like where this is headed. I like the nose. I like the eyes. I'm probably going to make the eyes try to recede a little bit. Yeah. But like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We may not answer right away, but we'll definitely answer at some point when we stop. And thank you to anybody who's been tuning in so far. I feel like is like the doom stage where you erase and then you figure out which lines you did not go over. I like the way this guy looks though. And I like that I'm able to actually create an outline, so it's gonna look kind of cool in the book. I realized that when I did my Latin X-Files, like I did these like really cool outlines around the creatures, and they kind of looked like almost like playing cards. And I thought, you know what, if I'm gonna do another drawing cryptid series, I want it to be, okay, we're not losing too much line work. I always hate when I erase, because then like whatever depth or shadow you created, it's like gone. And then you're like, was there supposed to be something there? Was there not supposed to be something there? I don't know. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Just going for weird monkey-like creature in the swamp. I think I'm going to paint this all a little bit of darkness so you get some depth going on. Probably going to lean towards this color, only I don't know what color it is on the marker so far. We'll figure that out though. Think I'm done erasing. I like it. I like it. Came out pretty cool. I need some scrap paper though, which is gonna be kind of fun. Let's see, can we use this? That's a decent darkness so far. Anyway, I hope you guys are having an awesome weekend. I'm having a pretty dang good weekend. Can't really complain. I think you go to like right about here. I'm trying to figure out where the little mat is for the alcohol markers. I don't want color to bleed onto the next page. I love how this guy came out though. Kind of glad I revisited this. I mean, he's kind of missing a little bit of his chest muscle, but it'll do. I'm just trying to figure out where I have that mat so that I'm not bleeding onto the next page. Might go over creature here in a minute. I am so gonna sneeze. Oh, the alcohol markers. Anyway. Do you guys have a favorite cryptid? I think if I was gonna sit there and say a favorite cryptid, I don't know, does he count as a cryptid? The creature from Jeepers Creepers. The creature. Never colored with my marker on this paper, so this is gonna be kind of fun. And patchy. Didn't realize that. Or maybe I'm just not that great at coloring. No, I think the paper, I'm gonna have to go over it again. Doo -doo -doo. Chupacabra. Chupacabra. I love the Chupacabra. You know, the Chupacabra is the one that I boycotted drawing, and he's actually on my list of Florida cryptids. Like, I'm actually gonna draw him at some point. I don't know, like, I always feel like he's always drawn. I was like, that's the last cryptid I want to draw. Up until now. I didn't want to be the one that picks the predictable ones. Chupacabra, I remember hearing about, do you remember hearing about the stories of them finding the creature in like the early, like I want to say it was like the late 90s. I think it was like on Univision. I remember seeing that with my grandma and like people talking about like, oh, don't go out at night, you might get, you know, something might happen to you. I don't know if anybody else remembers that. But if I've had to pick a creature that I've drawn, I would. I'm a little biased, but I would say it's the cryptid La Carreta Nagua. It's basically like this carriage um, from Nicaragua, and it's like a like carriage of the dead. The cattle were drained of blood. Yeah, yeah, and then they had supposedly a picture, like not a picture, they had like an actual corpse of the chupacabra. I think that they were showing on TV, like when they said that they found the creature, and then they were kind of saying that no, it's not a creature, like not a cryptid. It's a rabid dog. I think at one point. You know, that's the one thing I will say I do miss. I do miss Spanish television, like coming out with like these stories of cryptids or like creatures or like weird things that are unexplained. I don't know if they still do that because my grandma's no longer around, so she doesn't like show me um, the different things that are on there. I will say though that on TikTok there is a weird, like, not weird, but there was this guy that, come to find out, Zombie was sitting there and saying that it's an ARG. It was this dude in like Panama that found a meteorite and it started to grow exponentially, and it turns out it's not a real like situation. It's essentially an ARG, which I'm like, I wanted to believe in a cryptid. I want to believe in a creature, and it's never a creature. It's always an ARG. It's kind of bummed out to hear that. I actually thought it was real, and I thought it was wild, but nope, not real. That's the unfortunate side of things. I will say, like, probably my next venture is probably going to be a lot of, like, sea creatures. There's so many, like, weird, creepy creatures at the bottom of the ocean. And I'm like, I think I want to draw sea creatures next. They are super devious. There was even one, I think, and I'm not sure if it's even. I want to say it's people like bullshitting. It's probably another ARG because I'm like, I can't imagine it being true. But then again, like, there's supposedly a TikTok behind this. I'm gonna stop like rambling, but there's this one guy that was talking about mermaid parties and basically the rich eating mermaids, and I'm like, what? And again, I don't know if that one's real either. That one had a lot of like good back info on it though. Excuse me. But yeah, I get lost in those like ghost, haunted, spooky video situations. I'm pretty sure they're all psychology degrees in ARG marketing. Probably. Excuse me, I've got a tickle in my throat. It's probably from talking too much. And sparkling water is not cutting it. I really like how this dude is coming out. It's kind of creepy. I think I might mess with another color marker. Might go a little bit lighter. But yeah, I wish a lot of the creepy videos that were online were real, but they're not. It's so unfortunate. I was totally believing that one in Panama about the meteorite until, like I said, Zombie was like, no, it's not real. And I was like, That is such a bummer because it was so well done. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out because I was like, wow, this is really well done. I might make his eyes a little bit. Think we're almost there. I haven't drawn in a little bit. Like I said, like the last few weeks have been like crazy and hectic. And I ended up building Legos, which is a fun, well, off-brand Legos. Five and Below has these Legos, or Lego like stuff that are like succulents, and they're really freaking cool. And that was fun. Never realized how much fun Legos were, really. Very relaxing. Took my mind off a lot of bullshit. So it's a nice way to spend Friday. I posted them on my social media in case you guys are curious about what those look like. But I highly recommend them. Like, the boxes feel flimsy and kind of, like, cheap, but the actual, like, Lego, or, well, I think they're Built Tech stuff. Oh, thank you, light, for turning off. I just realized that that light may turn off because it's probably on a timer. Shoot. Actually, maybe not. Anyway, I'm rambling about things I bought. I think we're gonna call it. I'm gonna make it a little bit darker in the eyeballs. And I'm realizing, see, I didn't pay attention to where. Thank God I caught that. I didn't pay attention to where the stupid little plastic thing is, so it doesn't bleed. I knew that was gonna happen based on the fact that this is larger than the paper that I'm normally drawing on. Don't do it, Alethea. Don't do it. The Chilean or the Peruvian mummies freak me out. I've never seen the Chilean or the Peruvian mummies. You know which mummy though is really intrinsically, like, it's got a wicked pattern on the face, is the one in the Louvre. So if you look up, I think it's called the Unknown Mummy, or it's a mummy that basically they don't know who it is, and they've never unraveled the mummy to actually see who it is. They actually, I think they did a CT scan of it, but it has like this wild, like, folded, like, origami type pattern that is like a square, and it just basically overlaps, and they've never undone it because they wouldn't be able to put it back the way it originally was. I don't know if you've ever seen that one. I've been trying to tell every person that I've heard, well, not heard, every friend that I've had that's gone to Paris to go to the Louvre, I've been like, have you seen the mummies? And none of them went to go see the mummies. And I'm like, really? Like, you went all the way there and you didn't go to the mummies? No, they went to go see all the other artwork. It's like the tiny extraterrestrial mummies, and they look so. I gotta check those out. I want to see the one in the Louvre. That one. That one's the one that has me intrigued. I keep forgetting that I'm not moving this. I am so going to end up coloring through the next page. I didn't realize when I bought this sketchbook that the paper's really thin. But it'll be fine. Anyway. Hope you guys are having an awesome Saturday into Sunday. I'm having fun. I missed live streaming, really. It was a nice distraction from, like, life and everything going on. It was a great way to de-stress and unwind from work. But I had too much going on. We'll definitely be back next week with a live stream. think I'm gonna leave it at this for right now. I want to go darker, but I also want it to dry because I have a tendency of if I don't let it sit, I will keep adding color and color and color until it like gets super muddy. Just because I'm like, more color. Let's add some shadowing. I recently discovered that I like alcohol markers versus watercolor. I've really dived into the October drawing. Oh, the Inktober challenge? That's awesome. I'm assuming it's Inktober or Drawtober or whatever it is that there's so many ones that happen in October. I think this is like the first year where I'm not sharing all my cryptids that I'm drawing for Florida. Uh, but I will say the Nick Cage challenge that I did last month in September was pretty freaking fun. I'm a huge fan of Nick Cage though. That's another one that I'm gonna take all the drawings, all the 30 some odd days of drawings, and turn it into a zine about Nick Cage because I'm here for his shit show. There's a few like quite a few drawings that I didn't share because I think I stopped at day. I want to say it was like day 12, 13, something like that. Because I started late and then I didn't feel like posting all the drawings all at once and bombarding people with all my Nick Cage drawings. Even though I'm like, I'm here for it. Yeah, I found one of the prompts I liked best. Cage Temper was epic. It was so much freaking fun. And I have a few more drawings, but nobody gave me comments my last post to say that they wanted to see more. So I think a lot of people were like over it. But I'm like, I want to share my. I have a drawing of him from the City of Angels, and then I have one involving the llamas from the color. Is it the color? Not the color of sleep. Color through space and time. Color through space, I think is what it's called. Um, it's the one where he basically plays a scientist, and he thinks that the water is poisoned, and there's killer llamas involved, or killer alpaca, tongue twister, killer alpacas. I don't know if you've seen that one, but I'm like, I've got a few ones, and then Willy's Wonderland is another drawing that I have going in that series, and I'm like, I didn't share. Might share them later on this month, just because I'm like, they're so much fun. I really liked the face-off drawing that I did with the mashup between his face and John Travolta's. I didn't think that one was going to actually turn out all that well. I don't know if you can relate to, like, you have an idea in your head and you're just not sure if it's going to translate at all. The H.P. Love. Yes, it's the H.P. Lovecraft one. What's funny is I didn't know it was an H.P. Lovecraft story until somebody in I'm gonna sneeze, excuse me. Somebody from the Midnight Horror Club that I'm a part of um, was sharing his anniversary of saying, "Hey, happy birthday, Lovecraft," and then talking about a fun fact being that "Color Out of Space" was actually based off an H.P. Lovecraft short story, which I was like, I have to read that because now I'm really genuinely curious if the alpacas were completely written into that or if that was just bullshit that was invented. Because I'm here for killer alpacas or killer llamas. Anyway, this is our version of the skunk ape. I like it. I might add a little bit more depth and shadow once I let it sit. I don't know if anybody can relate to. Sometimes you just gotta walk away from the drawing, let it sit, come back to it, and see if you need to add anything else. Definitely want to add a little bit more shadowing in the leaves to give those a little bit of depth. But yeah, this is what we drew tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed it. But yeah, all the time. Yeah, see, I can definitely relate to it being all the time. But anyway, let me know down in the comments below who you'd like us to. Let me know down in the comments below who you would like us to draw next. But I'm gonna leave this for now for tonight. We've been drawing for an hour and like roughly 12 minutes. Thank you to anybody who tuned in. I genuinely appreciate it. This is our newer version of the skunk ape. And in case you were curious of our old version, I think it's hell of an improvement, considering. Here you go, skunk ape. I think it's kind of an improvement from what we did previously. I want to add a little bit more shadowing, like I said, but I like where it's going. I'm pretty proud of it. Kind of looks like an actual creature, cryptid of sorts. Might give it a little bit more shadowing right there and figure it out. It's got to go a little bit more this way, I think. But anyway, hope you guys are doing awesome. Like I said, thank you for tuning in tonight. Sorry, I'm just correcting my mistake with the way that the creature's gonna sit. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that before I sit there and I try to add any more color to it. Thank you again for tuning in, and here I am going and adding a little bit more. I said I was going to stop. Anyway, the old one looks friendlier. Yeah, I want to say he has like a little bit of a mullet thing going on. Like I said, it looks like He-Man with a mullet. Hey Mel, the artist. Thanks for coming and tuning in. We're just wrapping up here. We're kind of drawing the skunk ape, or our version of the skunk ape, in comparison to what we drew back in 2020, which would have been this guy right here. I should have just bookmarked it. Like Matt was saying, it looks like a little bit, not a little bit, a lot more friendlier than this kind of creature. I'm leaning towards more creepy this time around. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. If you like the drawing, then definitely hit the like button. It really, really helps. And if you want to be aware of when we tune in next time and we stream, then definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want to choose what we draw next time, then subscribe to our Instagram channel. Our Instagram, everything is at Inkeater. We usually post a story poll on Thursdays, and if we forget, always feel free to go bug us and say, hey, you didn't post the poll, and we'll definitely post the poll. Anyway, thank you again for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it, and until next week, stay awesome. Bye, guys.